G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an M72 Gauss rifle. This particular weapon originally hailed from Fallout 2, and it's made a triumphant return into the 3D realm of Fallout through this Fallout 4 weapon mod. What this mod offers is obviously the Gauss rifle itself, a decent amount of customization, which we'll get to in just a second, but also custom animations, both in first and third person, so the attention to detail is there. The sounds, however, I should mention, are the same as the vanilla Gauss rifle, so they're not particularly jarring to hear, but you're not going to get that major nostalgia hit of having this thing reload and fire with the same sounds that it did back in its respective original game. So, you know, if you're missing out on a little bit of nostalgia that way, well, too bad. The functionality of this thing is a little bit different from a vanilla Gauss rifle. Basically, its firing system, which we'll get to as we get into gameplay, but nostalgia aside, let's get this thing upgraded because it ain't going to be looking like this forever. You can chuck an overcharged barrel. As you'll see with these, it'll increase with the ranks of science and gun nut to actually unlock these, and obviously the components to balance it out a bit. But with the overcharged barrel, you get the best damage and range out of it, which makes sense. You've got an overcharged thing and it throws the projectiles faster. And for the sights, you've got the standard iron sights, which look strangely modern. They're kind of cool actually. But you can have a reflex sight, which it looks more like what it would look like on an OG Fallout looking weapon. But you can also have a scope, which is a short one, or a long scope, and the interesting thing about this scope is that it'll actually add another attachment point. You can actually change what kind of magnification you get out of it, so it saves them making extra assets or extra attachment points for the different scopes, and gives you a little bit more customization there, which we won't do that. We'll just chuck on a reflex sight for this one, we'll chuck on a scope for another one, and we can have a suppressor on this thing, which is always a really good thing to have on any sort of rifle because of the sneak multipliers. But yeah, like I said before, we won't be missing out on any cool sounds because this thing has the vanilla Gauss rifle sound, so we'll just move on. It can have a full stock to make it look more like its original Fallout 2 variant, but yeah, you can have a recoil compensating stock, which, this thing doesn't really kick all that much, so it's kind of useless. I like the full stock because it makes it look cool. It's a cosmetic thing. Anyway, so originally this thing had a magazine size of 20. You can get that, but you have to get a drum in, which, stacking the 2mm electromagnetic cartridges, I feel like you could do a little bit more space efficiency out of that, but you know what, whatever, we'll keep on going. And now, for the upgrades, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So you've got the capacitors, which will increase your per shot damage at the cost of rate of fire. You've got the recharge booster, which will do the opposite of that, and grant you automatic fire. Now, usually with automatics in this game, the VAT shooting is burst fire, but that would be too overpowered, so they've slowed it down. They've somehow got this thing to be automatic outside of VATS, but in VATS is going to be firing a little bit more like a semi-auto rifle, and a recharge optimizer is the best one of them because you get both the capacitors and the recharge booster, I guess. Both of the benefits for no downsides, basically. It does, curiously enough, have the military-grade circuit board as a requirement, which not a lot of weapon mods do. But I kind of dislike when they do that because I've just got a bunch of these components ready to go right here, and I'd rather them just, use that instead. But that's just a little bit nitpicky of me. And we've also got a legendary thing if we wanted to go and do that. We can put some blue screen rounds into it. We will not. I'll create another Gauss rifle with a scope, and I'll see you when we shoot things. Alrighty, so here we are at the original shooting gallery, and here is my M72 Gauss rifle. It's got custom drawing and sheathing animations, which I'm pretty sure aren't the terminology for this, but I'm going to use it anyway because I've got nothing else. And you notice how big this thing is. It's kind of keeping with the trend of oversized Gauss rifles in the latest Fallout games, but it also means that this thing won't be totally undersized in power armor. It'll actually look really good if you're wearing power armor. It'll be nice and scaled with you. Also, if you look at the barrels, a little bit of electricity is flowing up and down, which is nice. I kind of like it if it glowed a little bit more, so it made it feel a little bit more alive, but whatever. So the gunners have spawned in because the game started for a second, and it's time to begin shooting. Now I'm going to be holding down the trigger here, and you'll observe how slow the rate of fire is. It's a lot faster than it would have been otherwise, but just to give you an idea. Now I'm playing on big boy very hard difficulty, and I've got a half damage penalty, so everything will be tanky, and if my weapon's not hitting hard enough to kill these guys quickly, well, they'll just start dancing around like they usually do. Unless I can just nail 2 headshots like that, that's pretty good. We'll just keep on running, and ooh. It's hard to explain, but I feel like this thing when you're sprinting with it, it's just it feels weird. It feels like I'm moving a little bit differently. It's like you lunge forward when you get into the sprint thing. That's weird. Okay. And the animations are cool. We'll get into more of those as we use this one, because it's only got the 8-round mag capacity. But yeah, the main advantage to using this Gauss rifle as compared to the Gauss rifle in the vanilla game is you don't have to charge it up, so you can keep dealing out the damage as fast as it fires, which is, it's good. And I've got the damage to constantly sneak crit, or the stealth to constantly sneak crit to these guys, so that's pretty good. And if we get a decent headshot, you'll notice that it also works with the sniper perk, you know, which it should, because it's got the rifleman, I guess, what do you call it, keywords, so it should work when I'm scoped in. And using this thing in VATS is actually quite efficient as well. Well, not really efficient. If I was using this one, for example, it'd be more efficient because it's got the automatic barrel, which, like I said before, isn't going to be using burst fire in VATS, but it'll be a lot more AP efficient. See how slow that is? If it was like a true automatic, it would have been bang, 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 dead. So they've managed to make this thing a little bit worse off by comparison by not allowing you to, you know, quickly blitz things in VATS, but I guess that would make it the obvious attachment slot to use, because it'd just be so powerful. The DPS would skyrocket in VATS, which would, you know, would probably break the balancing of this thing. But as it stands right now, it's pretty decent. Oh, that's a legendary minigun. I wonder what she's got. Luckily for us, miniguns are pretty spineless in Fallout 4. Just, it'd be nice if I could actually shoot stuff. And I'm glad it wasn't it was a troubleshooter's minigun. That's okay. If it was a wounding minigun, I probably would have been dead by now, because she did get some shots onto me, and all of that damage over time probably would have killed me. Yes, I remember this thing back in when I used to play Fallout 4 on PS4. You could actually make the Gauss rifle fire faster by clicking at a specific time. Apparently it's the double shot thing. You can still do it with this Gauss rifle, which is odd because it doesn't charge up, but there you go. It's actually a decently well-performing weapon. I feel like it's a worthy alternative to the Gauss rifle that is already in the game, which, you know, if it's a little bit above or a little bit below the vanilla game weapons, I'm okay with, because if it's drastically below, then it's just useless compared to vanilla weapons, which, why would you use it, right? Alrighty, so we're gonna run Gerald's gauntlet here. If you're wondering who's Gerald, that's him. He's just an upscaled super mutant behemoth, and he does a lot of damage. We usually let him deal with the gunners here because, well, I've cleared out the plaza. I don't want to kill more, but I kind of am in the mood for sniping right now. Now, I've actually changed some of my INI settings, and now my grid slowed, instead of being at 5, is at 16, so I've got a whole lot more random map loaded as I would normally, so hopefully when I'm running over to places, it won't stutter for like 3 to 10 seconds, depending on how much it needs to load. I realize I just ran over a mine. That's interesting. Now, there's usually a bear over here. I think that I've found him. He's over there. And, ooh. The terrain over there doesn't look like it's loaded in, so also getting some frame rate drops. Maybe I did overdo it slightly, although I don't get the frame rate drops when I'm not looking through a scope, so that's a little bit odd. I might have to continue to tweak that setting as I go along, but I feel like it's working a lot better here. So, here's how it's going to go down. I'm just going to scope out the super mutant, and I'm going to try to shoot him in the head. I think I got that shot in the head. I think I was just slightly out of range, though, and I got the half damage penalty. I was about... yeah, I would have been at about the spot where the damage would start to drop off, and you could make the range a little bit longer if you decided to, you know, remove the suppressor, but then you couldn't do dumb shit like this. Nobody can see me. Also, reloading in third person. There it is. Don't have to pull no charging handle. I guess it's all done electronically for you. I think I just knocked him off. No, I didn't. Would have been satisfying if I did, though, mind. Alrighty, so there's some targets over there. We'll just shoot them. There's another one. That guy was sitting down. Managed to displace his face with the Gauss rifle, which is nice. There's another one. Oh, it's just a doggo. There's usually one shooting at targets here. I wonder if I've aggroed him yet. No. But he's managed to put a suppressor on his laser gun, which I might go back and study. Actually, that's one of my ideas for a follower mod weapon. And I managed to just mess around with the sounds of the laser gun. So, like, it's basically the reverb of it, and then I just overlaid the deliverer suppressed sound on top of it. And it kind of sounds like a suppressed laser gun, but that's what I was going with. It kind of defeats the purpose of having a suppressed laser gun because I was going to say, he looked like he was sitting like he was dead. But here's where it usually started, but that hasn't happened on this occasion, so that's good. Oh, there it is. Maybe the game hasn't actually loaded in yet. There we go. There's a cheeky little sniper knockdown there. Let's just deal with all of his minions first, shall we? We'll whip out our higher rate of fire one. These guys are big. There's no excuses for missed shots here. There we go. And a quick reload. It's going to hop over across these barrels. Luckily, he's not attuned with the environment to figure out that there might be some barrels rumbling around. He might see me just now, though. Oh, yeah. I'm kind of backed into a corner here. That's okay. I can run over here and he can't possibly follow me, could he? Oh, he can. He managed to miss, though, which is not a super common occurrence, no. I also managed to miss those guys in there, and he's running off now. Yeah, that's kind of what the AI does. If it can't actually find a way to get to you, it'll just bugger off, especially if they're melee. Usually if they're gun things, I'll just take cover. What I might do instead of shooting them like that, I'll just pop a quick reload in VATS and then just get a quick headshot in VATS. That was the arm. Let me try that again. There we go. Nice ragdoll on him. Use this chance to reload because why not? Gerald's really mad at me right now. He's also making love to the sign, which I guess he likes Nuka Girl. It's probably the only thing around here that's of his size, so you gotta feel bad for the guy. Wouldn't think that's the first thing you'd do straight out of combat, but it is what it is. Alright, looks like he is coming to kick my ass, so I'm gonna go over here. I've also noticed this guy up there. Wonder if I can just get a grenade. Oh, I don't carry grenades for these things, do I? I've got no reason to use them, but whatever. I will hide, and you will never find me. So, here's the thing about Gerald. He's got about as much health as the Scorch Beast Queen, but he doesn't have that dumb bullet resistance thing, or the damage resistance thing that she has. So, you know, if you're hitting this hard against the Scorch Beast Queen with any other weapon in the game, you'd be getting about that much of her. And as for you, there we go. He was nowhere near detecting me. We'll just keep on shooting this guy. Oh, come on, don't do that. Alright, he's coming this way. Finally. Alright, we'll zero in the face a little bit and just take these easy shots. Because look at that, 3,200 damage. That's the kind of damage you want. Would have been doing even more damage if I was in range. Also, that damage number was elite. Nice. I think I might have got detected at this stage. I'm hoping for that super rare opportunity of the sniper knockdown. I am technically aiming down sights thanks to that. Doesn't look like it's going to happen though. Luckily I've outpathed him again. We're back into caution. Might as well just finish him off with this. There we go. I think the DPS might even be higher on this one, simply because you can just get so much bullets out there. But alright, we're done here. Let's move on to another monster and we'll call it a video. Alright, let's do a little bit of daytime combat as something explodes over there. And I'm not hitting this thing very hard at all. What I might do is switch over to the sniper variant of this and shoot him in the head some little bits. Yes, that's nice. That's doing a decent amount of damage. We'll throw a critical in there or two because that's the way of really stacking damage. It should be a decently easy kill, but yeah, you'll notice that the DPS on this definitely does do better than I remember a Gauss rifle doing, and you know, this thing ain't even legendary too, so imagine getting an instigating variant of this. You can't get bloodied ranged weapons in Fallout 4. They kind of forgot about that in 76, but instigating Furious would be a good one, actually. And a two-shot. Two-shot was absolutely massive in this game, I'll tell you that much. But now we are detected, and yeah, we only get about 5 or so shots from the sniper Gauss rifle, but you'll see with this one, if we get a full run of VATS, which I'll have to do now because my bullets are out. Wait for it. It'll reload soon. Or you might just have to watch the reload in VATS as he comes in for a nice high five. No burst fire here. I think I'll just go for every critical that I could possibly get because he's going to whoop my ass if I lose this VATS defense. There we go. And a nice cinematic of him saying, "Why, God, why? Give me this horrible perception." But yeah, I think you get the point. So there you have it. A little bit of a nostalgia trip, although not for me because I was a little bit too young for the OG Fallout game. See, I was born in 1997, which was the same year that Fallout 1 came out. And yeah, confession time, I didn't come out of my mother's womb with a PC strong enough to play it. Although you probably wouldn't need a great PC to play at those games those days, would you? If anything, the load times would have been more than what they are now. Technology has advanced significantly since then, hasn't it? We're playing 3D games now. How crazy is that? Anyway, so if you'd like to see this weapon in your game, if you are interested in shooting cunts with this, check the description. There shall be a link down there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Also, Mantis, how you doing? You watching this?